taking your calls on All Matters Financial. It is it's that time of the year. It's the live open line editions of the show. When other people take off for the holidays, Christmas and Hanukkah, we are just pounding you with new, engaging, innovative content. We're talking about Trump's plan to have a 50-year mortgage. Is he another FDR, or is it just a dud response to inflation? We'll talk about that. And I want to get your take on financial. Do you believe it's a good idea? 50-year mortgage. That's the question of the day. 800-321-0710. Do you think the 50-year mortgage is a good idea? Also, I would love to hear from you with any and every financial question you may have. Now is the time to chime. We are live on the air with your questions on All Matters Financial. Today we've got a packed show lineup for you. There's a lot happening right now in the world of money, shifting rules, new proposals being floated in Washington, changing market conditions, and big decisions people are trying to make about housing, retirement, taxes, and even how to plan for the new year. But this is my favorite type of show. It's an open line edition of the broadcast. We're also going to try to go live on Twitter. We'll go on Twitter Spaces in a little bit. Whether you're thinking about buying a home, navigating the markets, getting ready for retirement, or just trying to get your financial footing as we head toward 2026, we're breaking down the trends and strategies that actually matter, the ones that affect your wallet, your long-term plan, and your peace of mind. And we have Nicole live. Hello, Nicole. Good morning.
Good morning.
Do you think we should go live on YouTube, too?
We are live on YouTube.
Oh, we are. Well, so people are seeing me.
Check us out on YouTube at The Financial Quarterback.
Yeah, so you get to see my ugly mug. And this is the first open line edition with Nicole, so maybe she can chime in on some things. And of course, we'll be talking through some of the biggest money questions people are facing right now, what smart families are doing to stay ahead, and I'm going to talk about how I made national headlines this week. I don't know, I posted something on LinkedIn, got picked up by the financial news media, and I might get a call from the CEO of Schwab. I said something like, there was those Carl commercials. You ever see the Carl commercials?
What are you saying, Caro?
Carl. There's a guy named Carl.
Oh, Carl, that's my dog's name.
Who is an advisor. Although the Schwab CEO, in response to my criticism, said, no, it's not a fiduciary financial advisor like you, Josh. It's a commission-based broker. I don't know. So my thought is, you've never seen these Carl commercials? Maybe
no.
we can.
I
don't even want to give it play, but for the last so many years, Schwab has been running an ad campaign about a guy named Carl. Do you think Schwab should pull the Carl ads? Do you like them? Do you not? They go, I guess you don't really watch CNBC or Fox Business that much.
No, not anymore.
Well, you should now. You need to review for the show. So see what people are talking about. But you could write it off for work. Write off your cable bill for work.
I'll have to get a cable now.
So you have, what is it? Or YouTube or whatever, TV, whatever it's on. So Carl is a broker, and I think it just gives people a bad taste in their mouth about the advice industry. Basically, it positions Carl as some boob that just doesn't care about the client. And it positions the client as the hero and Schwab as the guide. Now, I think Schwab should pull it because a lot of advisors like us give them business. They're one of the biggest custodians for fiduciary financial advisors like myself, And I don't think the average customer really knows the difference. Does that make sense, what I'm saying, Nicole? Like,
Yeah, it does.
in your mind, as a regular person, do you know a difference between a broker and an advisor? No.
No, I don't.
I mean, we'll tell you it, but and in some cases, so a broker is somebody basically who makes commissions when they put you in financial products. An advisor is someone who charges a fee. So the CEO of Schwab fought back and said, no, we're not talking, we're allowing the advisor to have a conversation. Then it should say, have a conversation with your fiduciary financial advisor about the difference between a commission-based broker and a fee-based advisor. But there are some fee-based advisors who are what Tom Hegna calls fake fiduciaries anyway. So you need to be educated a little bit broader than that. It's part of it. So Schwab, do you think Schwab should cut the Carl commercials? So give us a call, 800-321-0710. So stick with us for the next, hour and 49 minutes. We've got a great show ahead. And as always, we're here to help you make the right decisions, avoid costly mistakes, and take control of your financial future. This is the Financial Quarterback. Let's dive right in. Would a 50-year mortgage really make housing more affordable? We have a whole write-up, but I want to share something, and we could clip it for social media. 50-year mortgages are dumb. 50-year mortgages are a symptom. What did Klaus Schwab say? You'll own your home. You'll own nothing. What was that quote? Klaus Schwab? Look that quote up.
I'm going to find it.
You will own nothing. So the 50-year mortgage, is it a good idea or a bad idea? To me, it is the realization of the Klaus Schwab Council on Foreign Relations New World Order idea that you will not own anything and you'll be thankful for it. So we have some people.
It's you will own nothing and be happy.
Yes, because you'll have a 50-year mortgage. You'll never really own your home. You'll be a renter for the rest of your life to the bank. You'll pay interest upon interest. A 30-year mortgage was bad enough. Now we're doing a 50. This is absolute lunacy. So that's one of my takes. Another take is a 50-year mortgage is a great idea because it lowers the monthly payment. So instead of you paying rent, it at least gives you the ability to own your home over the next 50 years. But I think it is a realization of you'll own nothing and be happy. What do you think? Give us a call, 800-321-0710. President Trump has talked about the idea of allowing 50-year mortgages in the U.S. with a picture of FDR. He's likening himself as a new FDR. The pitch is simple: stretch the loan term, lower the monthly payment, and make homeownership more affordable. But really, is it? How much extra interest are you going to have to pay? But economists and housing experts say the idea may actually create new problems, not solve the ones we already have. Take our lovely Nicole, our producer. We're always bringing you up.
I know. I'm used to it by now.
So now you're like, did you ever notice? I did not plan this. I really didn't. Your journey into home ownership, when you buy a house, it's going to be like a boring,
I know. There was so much research and thought that went into it, too.
How would you feel? You buy your house now. When will you really own your house? 50 years from now? Are you excited about that prospect?
I mean, 50 years from now, knock on wood, I don't know that I'll still be here.
Well, hopefully. But a 30-year mortgage, you can kind of you own it when you retire. I'm not against mortgages. I'm not against utilizing a mortgage as a wise leverage tool. And if it gets more people in their house, I'm all for it. So I think America's a free country. If banks and mortgage companies truly want to do a 50-year mortgage, I'm all for it. But if we're talking about the government subsidizing this, I'm against it. If we're talking about private banks wanting to do it, but I think what this has to do with is the federal government that insures the mortgage so banks can then sell it. You know, you get a mortgage and then all of a sudden it's being sold to some company you've never heard of. You bought a bank from Wells Fargo, but suddenly you're paying interest to a guy named Cooper. So that happens all the time. You get a mortgage, and then a year from now, it's sold. So give us a call, folks, 800-321-0710. We're going to be talking all hour about the 50-year mortgage. We'll get my take a little bit more, and we'll get your take. Are you for it or against it? 800-321-0710. And I want you to head over to Jalinski.com. We have updated our website, painstakingly curated it. And we've gone into, what can you expect when you work with us? And we have our motto front and center, all heart and no regrets. You're planning with all of your heart, for all of your heart, the people you love and the causes you love. And you plan in such a way that you want no regrets. And we give you 6 game-changing playbooks that can help you define your legendary retirement game plan. So if you want our very own LRG, Legendary Retirement Game Plan, you can call us for our 6 game-changing playbooks that focus on income planning. Income is the only outcome that matters in retirement. Investment planning, taxes. Taxes is one of the single biggest expenses in your retirement planning. You got to plan for it. Healthcare. Healthcare is another. Healthcare and taxes are your 2 biggest problems in retirement. Not market downturns. Those eventually shall pass. Housing wealth, what we just talked about. Mortgages, 50-year mortgages. And legacy. How to leave a legacy and the legendary game plan for your loved ones. Call us, 888-988-JOSH. That's 888-988-5674 for your very own legendary retirement game plan. And if you're within the next 3 callers, you'll get my book, The Retirement Reality Check, as a free gift. 888-988-JOSH. We'll be back after these messages.
Josh and his team at the Jalinski Advisory Group can help you lower your taxes and lower your risk in these uncertain times with a 27-point checklist designed to improve your financial health. Whether you're worried about runaway prices, fear of an upcoming recession, or a stock market meltdown, tune in to the Financial Quarterback and count on Josh Jalinski to call the play. For a free copy of Josh's book, The Retirement Reality Check, call 888-988-5674. That's 888-988-5674. Maybe it seems like the prices can't get much higher, or that the stock market is headed for bear territory, or maybe you're worried about another great recession. Josh Jalinski, the Financial Quarterback, can help you protect your family's financial future in times like these. Call 888-988-5674 to take advantage of Josh's 27-point plan to achieve financial health. And when you call, you'll receive a free copy of Josh's book, Retirement Reality Check. Call 888-988-5674 to receive your free copy of Retirement Reality Check.
Yeah, they're supposed to do 2 commercials anyway. Okay, we're back. This is Josh Jalinski, the Financial Quarterback. If you have questions, call me now. 800-321-0710. I don't know. This is one of these ideas that what the 50-year mortgage just proposed by President Trump is a solution to nothing. It's still having a 50-year mortgage might make housing less affordable. Here's why. If more buyers can start affording their monthly mortgage payment, they're going to buy more housing, which is going to drive up the costs of housing even further. The problem with the mortgages today is that the end home you buy is more expensive. The solution to the housing affordability crisis is to ease up on these dumb environmental mandates that allow home builders not to build new homes. You know what boomers did? You know what boomers did when they needed a new house? You know what your parents did? Your parents' generation?
Know what?
Toll Brothers, Pulte, Lennar, they built homes. Your generation, they don't get new homes built for them. They get, saving of the tree frog. So the solution to the housing affordability crisis is to ease some of the environmental restrictions all over the country that are making it so that you and I can't buy an affordable home. Has nothing to do with a 30-year mortgage versus a 50-year mortgage. And in actuality, a 50-year mortgage might be a worse idea because it'll get you in a home, so it's going to get more people buying homes, which is going to cause this supply and demand. See, this is why economics should be taught in school. So next up, we have Jim, a nonprofit housing developer. Go ahead, Jim. You're on with Josh Jalinski, the Financial Quarterback. Hello? Jim. I don't hear Jim. I don't know, maybe it's my headset. Jim hung up.
Jim hung up.
He's making no profit. He can't afford his phone bill. So is, hey, Jim, if you get this, call us back, 800-321-0710. So if a bank wants to create a 50-year mortgage with President Trump, and we call it the Trump mortgage, I'm fine with it. But to me, the 50-year mortgage solves no problem. In fact, it creates one. So what's your mortgage payment going to be? $100 less a month? $150 less a month? Helps a little bit. But the real problem is supply and demand and the functional illiteracy of most Zoomers in the country. And frankly, everyone for that matter. Because the problem is there is not enough supply because new home builders can't build new homes to keep up with demand. So what do? We have higher prices because we have no supply. Has nothing to do with a 30 versus 50-year mortgage. If you want to do it, President Trump, I'm all for it. If it doesn't cost me taxpayer dollars, I'm okay with it. But housing affordability is mostly driven by a shortage of homes. So longer mortgages could actually push prices higher without stimulating, without doing anything to increase supply. We need to ease up on the environmental restrictions that the what's it called? The Department of Environmental Protection. They should be called the Department of Housing Unaffordability. Okay, next up, Jim. He has a great idea. Go ahead.
Hey, Josh, how are you, Financial Quarterback? I'm going to pretend I'm your financial center for a minute.
Sure.
I'll pass the ball to you. I build interest-free, no down payment homes, the Fuller Center. And years ago, your co-host, you could order a house from Sears and Roebuck, right?
Yep.
And people would build it. Today I have volunteers building the whole, it's called the Fuller Center of Greater New York City. And so, we gave a 30-year interest-free mortgage to a single mom.
Yeah, and we lost him again. He can't afford his mortgage. This guy seems like, I knew this guy would have a nice thing that he's doing. I could just tell.
It's a little off the walls, right? Josh, can you hear me?
You cut off. So what did you say? You built something for a nice single woman, a 30-year zero interest mortgage, and then you cut off.
We have 20 families who paid off their interest-free mortgage.
Wonderful.
And so the dialogue of the 50-year mortgage, could you do a 40-year mortgage? The key is the family's getting equity in an asset, right? And if the interest, whatever interest you charge, we do zero interest, became not variable. At the end of 30 years or 40 years, you're going to have an asset that's worth a lot of money for the family. But my goal is an intergenerational New York, Connecticut, New Jersey, California. How do we keep that asset for the family and for the future kids and grandkids of that family? So it's in this world where everyone moves around and real estate and the home has become just a football of throwing it wherever you can land and hope you can pay everything. But what we years ago, people built their own homes. Part of it is we took the trades out of everyone's education, which was a great rocket scientist thing. But, building homes, and I agree with you on the extra things that they ask you to put into homes causes it a hardship for builders, especially for small builders like me. We're not for profit. So anyway, I'm just throwing that out. And, we want home ownership to be a reality again. And but the other thing we do, we tend to stuff building into cities that are already overbuilt. We have a lot of land throughout this country. Let's spread it out and build a new Joshtown, a new WOR town, and build some homes so your co-host can own one and your radio producer and everyone else that's listening.
Yes, I'm a big believer in that. See, what people don't realize is when you fly over the country, 90% of what you see is open, vacant land. Now, I'm all for clean energy and running water and no pollution, but the problem is the Department of Environmental Protection puts so much pressure on the small mom and pop home builder that it really bankrupted them, and we only have a few large home builders left. The Cahovs, the Pulte's, the Lennars, a lot of them went under in the 08 crisis, the mom and pop ones that became big. So I think it's great that you're doing this as a nonprofit for the goodness, sort of out of the goodness of people's heart. And again, if a 50-year mortgage helps, I would be all for it. I just don't think it's going to help. It's all. So thank you so much, Jim, my financial center. And we're going to break down a little bit more about this 50-year mortgage, what it would mean for home buyers, younger families, and whether this idea is a legitimate affordability solution or just political noise. President Trump proposed extending the standard 30-year mortgage to 50 years to lower payments and restore affordability. From a payment standpoint, longer terms do work, but there are consequences. Why monthly payments would drop. So let's assume you buy a house worth $415,000, which in Monmouth County apparently would buy you nothing.
Yeah, that's a rarity. Haven't heard that one.
Buy you a shack. So, but let's say you can get one. Maybe in, what do we say? Keensburg, Union Beach. $415,000 home with 20% down. A 30-year loan at 6.5%. It's one of the reasons I do think Trump gets it, that I want to give him credit that affordability is an issue. I think that's why he's trying to drive interest rates down. So a 30-year loan at 6.5% is about $2,098 a month. So $2,098 a month. A 50-year loan on the same term, on the 50-year term at 7%, because you'd have a little bit higher interest, would be about $1,998 a month. That's only about $100 in savings. I've seen other estimates of about $150 per month in savings. Again, is it going to help? Yes, it'll help you afford your cable bill. But I think the broad-based solution to this is ending some of these environmental restrictions. Maybe it's an all-of-the-above solution. Maybe it's this plus more. So when we return, we'll talk more about this 50-year versus 30-year solution. And call me, 800-321-0710. If you have a question, 800-321-0710. And call us for our 6 game-changing playbooks: income, investments, tax planning, healthcare planning, housing, wealth, and legacy. Call us for the legendary retirement game plan. We'll be back after these messages.
Maybe it seems like the prices can't get much higher, or that the stock market is headed for bear territory, or maybe you're worried about another great recession. Josh Jalinski, the financial quarterback, can help you protect your family's financial future in times like these. Call 888-988-5674 to take advantage of Josh's 27-point plan to achieve financial health. And when you call, you'll receive a free copy of Josh's book, Retirement Reality Check. Call 888-988-5674 to receive your free copy of Retirement Reality Check. Josh and his team at the Jalinski Advisory Group can help you lower your taxes and lower your risk in these uncertain times with a 27-point checklist designed to improve your financial health. Whether you're worried about runaway prices, fear of an upcoming recession, or a stock market meltdown, tune in to the Financial Quarterback and count on Josh Jalinski to call the play. For a free copy of Josh's book, The Retirement Reality Check, call 888-988-5674. That's 888-988-5674.
Okay, we're back taking your calls at 800-321-0710. This hour, we're talking the Carl commercial, which apparently no one's heard of. Now some have. 800-321-0710, and the 30 versus 50-year mortgage. I'm going to tell you why the 30-year mortgage is way better than the 50. And the 50-year mortgage is a dumb solution to a problem that it won't really solve. The longer loans dramatically slow the pace of ownership. After 10 years, a 30-year borrower may have paid $50,000 in principal, but a 50-year borrower may have paid down only, get this, $10,000. By year 20, the gap widens even further, over $100,000 less in equity. This affects long-term wealth building, retirement planning, and financial stability. Higher total interest costs. A longer loan means you pay more years of interest and likely a higher rate. Borrowers may save a little now, but pay significantly more overall. Housing affordability isn't about the loan term. Economists agree the real crisis is the supply shortage. The U.S. is about 3 to 4 million homes short. Extending mortgages doesn't create more homes. It may even push prices higher by increasing demand. The only thing that will solve the housing affordability crisis is to ease environmental restrictions and let builders build. Build, baby, build. Who might benefit and who wouldn't? Buyers with very tight cash flow might see some relief, but younger families could struggle to build equity. Retirees risk carrying mortgage debt well into old age, and investors and builders may benefit more than everyday households. Just because a monthly payment is lower doesn't mean the strategy is good. True affordability comes from a long-term plan, budgeting, cash flow analysis, down payment planning, interest rate timing, and avoiding emotional decisions. Do you know a lot of people don't even do cash flow analysis planning, Nicole? They don't really look once a year. Like, I don't force clients to, like, send me their budget. But at the start of any new relationship, we want to do a cash flow analysis, see where the money's coming in, where it's going out. And I think you should do that at least once a year to kind of look over things and see, okay, where am I spending a little bit too much on? So you have some questions for me?
Yes, because, we've spoken at length about my hypothetical home buying journey. So I'm just curious, from a financial planning perspective, is there ever a situation where a lower monthly payment, even in this situation where it could only be, a matter of $100 or so, is it worth the long-term cost of a 50-year mortgage?
Yeah, if it gets you into that right house to buy equity, sure, I'd be okay with it. But I just think long-term it doesn't solve the problem. The true problem is lack of supply. See, this is the fundamental reason that various democratic socialists are on the rise. People don't understand economics. They don't understand supply and demand. They don't understand that inflation is due to money printing. So it becomes a circular reasoning because people are not financially educated. If you know a good democratic socialist, what happens? It's never, the solution is always spend more money, right? So what happened with COVID? We had a national crisis. So what was the solution? People said, act. We want you to act now. So they passed all these laws. They gave people money for working from home and doing nothing. So what happened? The value of our dollars became less because our debt as a nation increased. We have to get inflation under control. And the only way we get inflation under control and go back to true affordability is by the law of supply and demand and by letting people understand that spending money will never, giving people free grocery stores or low-cost grocery stores will not solve a problem because it is a symptom of the problem. The problem of affordability is due to the fact that our dollars are becoming worth less. Remember when the solution was, by Bernie Sanders and others, to raise the minimum wage to 15? Did that solve anything? No. In fact, now, the $20 is the de facto minimum wage in certain areas of the country. Did it solve affordability? No, it made things worth less. So anytime the government proposes something, it tends to make things worse, and the democratic socialists end up leading a circular chain of saying, oh, we need to spend more money, we need to do modern monetary theory. They don't really realize that their solutions of more government programs have never worked. In fact, they've made things worse over time. Next up, Mike, who has a question on health savings accounts. Go ahead, Mike.
Yes, good morning, Josh. It's nice to have you back live. I have an HSA account in another state that I opened many years ago. I can no longer add to it because I'm on Medicare. It's in a low-interest instrument. I called them. I wanted to buy some type of higher instrument, either buy a stock, all kinds of other things, which I'm able to do with them. But they only would allow me to do it online, which I'm not really good with computers and things like that. I just took no for an answer and kind of left it at there. But I do want to get it out of just, 0.01% interest. Do you have any ideas how to accomplish it, complain to some state or federal agency? I said I'd have something notarized and mail it to them and tell them what I want, or go to my local brokerage. Like I said, I've never had this problem before, and I just wanted your advice.
Yeah, I doubt the government will truly help you, even though there are many well-meaning government workers. But you know what? The Financial Quarterback can help you. Why don't you call me? You're talking about an HSA, a health savings account, that's earning low interest rates. By the way, this is a major problem. You sign up for an health savings account at work, or you've had one over the years, and it's stuck earning. They don't even give you like a good interest rate on your cash. It's not like they give you, 3.5% to 4%. It's like you're stuck at 0.01. This is how a lot of these companies make money. The amount of cash that people are just hoarding in these HSAs. Number one thing, if you have an HSA, is get it off of zero. Call us today, 888-988-JOSH. We could do an in-person meeting, Zoom meeting. We get you set up with a health savings account. We could see if you could transfer it via custodial transfer. I remember there are companies like Optum or this or that, and they're basically the companies that specialize in HSAs. They're not going to go out of their way to tell you you're earning zero, but I am. And what you do is call our office, and we could see if we can move that to a brokerage account with a low-cost brokerage provider, okay?
Okay,
we'll see if we can help you.
Help. Thank you.
888-988-JOSH for the free HSA review. But, yeah, that's a great call because a lot of people they have these health savings accounts. Do you have one, Nicole?
I
Over to you.
just got one.
And make sure you're not earning zero. That's tip number one. Put it in some type of fund that can get growth over the next 30 years. That's the beauty of it. It grows tax-free, can be pulled out tax-free, like a Roth. So I hope that helps. Any other follow-up questions, Mike, on that issue? Before we go to Art, go ahead, Art. You're on with Art. You're on with Josh Jalinski, the financial quarterback. Go ahead, Art.
Hey, Josh, how are you this morning?
Wonderful, thank
I
you.
have an idea for first-time home buyers. I wanted to get your opinion on it. What if first-time home buyers were able to deduct from their federal income taxes their down payment on the purchase of the house, and over and above the itemized deductions, which is generally covered by the standard deduction now, if they were also able to deduct the interest expense on their mortgage. Again, only for first-time home buyers. I'd like to get your opinion on that.
Yeah, I mean, that's a fine solution. I tend to be against, and I see this with even some of the One Big Beautiful Bill Act and Trump giving people, I'm going to talk about this, the $2,000 tariff refund. I'm against all these things that give tax relief just to some people. I think we need a flat tax. I think we need tax relief to the people who are job creators and actually give jobs to people in this country, which none of these things actually do. They tend to be tax cuts for people who are not really job creators. So I would be more for a flat tax or ending the income tax as we know it. Use the tariffs to end the federal income tax. If we were supposed to get all this revenue, like $2,000, I mean, really, that's what you're proposing? I want to get, or I like Carl's solution better. Carl has a solution that we're going to talk to him next. But I mean, it's a great solution. I mean, all these things can try. I think fundamentally, though, giving people crumbs. This is like the Roman Empire. Our economy stinks, so what are we going to do? We're going to give you a little crumb. Here's $2,000, bread and circuses. Did you study the Roman Empire, Nicole, in school?
Very long time ago.
Yeah, and what did they do when the government kept spending more and more money and they had more and more inflation? They gave bread, grocery stores, and they gave circuses. Billionaires getting corporate welfare to buy sporting theaters. So I think we need to end the corporate welfare and just go for abolishing the property tax, like Carl says. Go ahead, Carl. I like this idea actually the most. Go ahead, Carl.
Yeah, hi. I just wanted to bring that up because the property tax is what's really killing people as far as buying homes. It's like I own my home outright and I can barely afford to keep it because of the property tax in Monmouth County. It's ridiculous. I don't know what your comment is about that, but I don't know, I don't know how you abolish that since it's so linked to, all the township's expenses. But it's a big problem. It's ridiculously expensive. And that's my comment.
I think we need to abolish the property tax. Case in point, I have 7 kids. I pay a lot in property taxes, and I get $0 for it. The township where I live doesn't even allow homeschooling parents to send their kids to the school district for sports. I think they should get a lawsuit for that. Tom's River Board of Ed doesn't even allow so I'm a taxpayer. My kids can't even play sports for the local teams. So it's ridiculous. I just think we got to abolish income tax. Think about it. Carl, you don't have any kids in the school district. Nicole,
No, not anymore.
You don't have any kids in the school district. Let's just abolish it, make it more affordable, exchange it to a use tax. I think we would get better outcomes if we abolished the property tax and you just had private education accounts. Or, I mean, think about New Jersey. We already pay like highest income taxes, highest sales taxes, and just get rid of property taxes. That would make housing way more affordable. It doesn't really do anything. Do you really? I mean, public education in the U.S. is still a big problem. And a lot of people are pulling their kids out of public education. And we have a lot of teachers as clients who we love. We have a lot of educators, administrative professionals. So I'm not denigrating what you do. I'm just saying we need a better solution to fund housing. Or in New Jersey, right? Like there's income tax and there's property tax. Like it should be one or the other. Like in Texas, they have no state income tax, but they have higher property taxes. So it should be one or the other, not both. But I think property taxes should be abolished, and in exchange for some type of funding mechanism where kids get a voucher, because what's happening is the money doesn't go to the kids. And my kids could run circles around public school kids, so I don't, it's a bad investment. So we got to figure out a different way to do it. But I think abolishing the income tax, the property tax would be a great way. So up next, we're going to talk to Chris, who wants to know if he has the correct balance between equity and cash. We'll talk more about the 50-year mortgage and whether it's a good idea, bad idea. Up next, this is Josh Jalinski, the Financial Quarterback. Don't touch that dial.
Josh and his team at the Jalinski Advisory Group can help you lower your taxes and lower your risk in these uncertain times with a 27-point checklist designed to improve your financial health. Whether you're worried about runaway prices, fear of an upcoming recession, or a stock market meltdown, tune in to the Financial Quarterback and count on Josh Jalinski to call the play. For a free copy of Josh's book, The Retirement Reality Check, call 888-988-5674. That's 888-988-5674. Maybe it seems like the prices can't get much higher, or that the stock market is headed for bear territory, or maybe you're worried about another great recession. Josh Jalinski, the Financial Quarterback, can help you protect your family's financial future in times like these. Call 888-988-5674 to take advantage of Josh's 27-point plan to achieve financial health. And when you call, you'll receive a free copy of Josh's book, Retirement Reality Check. Call 888-988-5674 to receive your free copy of Retirement Reality Check.
Okay, we're back. And many of you are calling us for the free book, Retirement Reality Check, when you schedule and keep your appointment. And there's a 4-step plan to financial freedom, or as how we say, your legendary retirement game plan. You want to be a legend. You want to be remembered for living boldly, for giving generously, and making every moment count with all heart and no regrets. But how do you do that? Well, first, we have a meeting where we get to the heart of your game. What drives you? Your values, your goals, your vision for retirement. Then we watch the tape. We have an amazing simulative software where we show you your gaps, your income gaps, your tax gaps, your strengths, and opportunities for growth. And then we tell you to get off the sidelines of your own life. So it's a 3-step process. Heart of the game, watch the tape, and get off the sidelines so you can move forward with clarity, confidence, and controlling your financial destiny, not just awaiting the bread and circuses of our government. Imagine your whole life, and this is sad, we have people who've been trained that the government is going to solve their problem, right, Nicole? That they're voting in such a way, oh, give me crumbs. Give me a discounted grocery store. Go to Cuba. I've been to Cuba. They do great things with rice and beans. But everybody in Cuba gets, I've never had better rice and beans than going to Cuba. But you get an allotment from the government. And you can give a brick. You get about a brick of beans and a brick of rice. And that's it. That's what you get from the government. That's where we're headed. think that'd be better than some government grocery store. It's going to have like horrible groceries that nobody wants. I went into a grocery store in Cuba one time. It was like nothing. It was like, where's Coke? No, we don't have that. We have Cuban Coke. And it was like some generic, dollar store brand. That's all that was. And they only had one brand. So if we want that, do we really want that, or do we want to get off the sidelines of our own lives, not rely on the government? Because, as we had this one guy, he called the government on his health thing. They're not going to do anything. You think they're going to do something? Going to wait around like a year. You'll get some letter from some bureaucrat. It's like with education. The best way people are educated is by their mom and dad. Next up, we have Chris. But you notice they don't really even want the mom and dad. All these proposals are free preschool. Basically, you can have a kid and you can drop them off to be brainwashed by the state from their first birthday. That makes you notice that? It's not about giving you rebates or money back so you can stay home for a couple years with your kids. No, because they know you would raise independent kids, independent thinkers. Next up, Chris, go ahead.
Yeah, hi, Josh. Was spoken in the past. In fact, I have a Roth, which represents about 30% of my IRA, which I opened basically listening to your show. But anyway,
Great, thank
here's the situation. I am 82. My wife is 79. We have an income between pension, Social Security, and a small VA disability. And it's about $110,000 a year net after tax. And we live very nicely on it. But my total account is about $1.8 million, which is composed of my IRA, which is the majority, my wife's a cash account of about $300,000, combination cash, money market. But my balance is 85% equity, 15% cash equivalents. I keep thinking, am I crazy at 82 years old having that kind of balance?
Maybe. You may be crazy. I don't know anything about you other than you have about 1.8 million in IRAs. I would have to know your cash flow, your money coming in, your money coming out. This is what we call watch the tape. We would put your numbers into the analysis. But I want to be clear, just because other people 82 are more conservative doesn't mean you have to be. But I also would say it seems like you've done well. So what I call, remember that game, the game of life, where you would have a little blue dot and a pink dot, and you'd put it in the car, and you'd go through, and you'd win. It seems like you've already won the game of life. Are you pretty financially comfortable?
Yes, as I say, on our net income, which doesn't even include my RMDs that I have to take, we live very comfortably. Really want it for nothing. And I guess maybe that's why I stayed at this 85-15. I really don't need any of the other cash, but at the same time, I don't know, everything I read, it's just, they talk about a 60-40, 75-25, and I'm just wondering, am I thinking about this in the wrong way?
You may be. Would a 30% decline in the stock market really unnerve you or no?
I wouldn't like it, but as I say, at my age, my worry is my age, at my age, 82, could I recover from that? I don't need the money.
Yeah, I mean, that's where I would worry about. I don't think you have the time to recover from a downturn. I mean, I'm doing just some simple math. A 30% decline in the market would be a $540,000 loss. And if you don't need the money, hypothetically, you could, not take it out for 10 years if the good Lord gives you 10 years and probably see it grow back. And typically we know that it takes 1 to 3 years for people to break even from a market decline. So if you're okay with that, but one of the things I would do is maybe not adjust I would consider adjusting your investment allocation. 2, I would look at a risk management approach where you're diversified, not just in equities. You're just asking me about bond to stock ratio, but it also, maybe you need different asset classes. Maybe you need some gold. Maybe you need some hedging with higher interest rate products for longer instead of just bonds that could go. If you have bond funds, they went down in 2020. So I would rethink your asset allocation, not just because of your age, because sometimes people, if you're 82 and you're not spending money, you could theoretically afford a downturn because even though you may not have time, if you don't need the money, you're not dollar cost averaging out of it. But it seems like you are vulnerable to a broad-based market decline. So I would get an asset allocation strategy. I would get a risk management strategy. And I would look at adding in different asset classes that would be non-correlated, which would not go down as much as the overall equity market. So I hope that helps you. That's our... And if you call me at 888-988-JOSH, we can get you the investing playbook conversation where we can figure out if you're too risky for your age, okay? It seems like you might be, though. So.
Okay, well, thanks very much for your thoughts.
Thank you, and look forward to meeting you. 888-988-JOSH, 888-988-5674. Next up, we've got John, who, this is kind of what I'm saying. All of these government solutions create more problems like the minimum wage. Go ahead, John.
Good morning. Thank you for taking this call. I'm a small businessman, and I've been in business about 55 years. And it's interesting. When I was first introduced to the world of electricity, my first boss started me at $1.25 an hour. So since then, life has been pretty decent for me. But as an employer here in New York, a young man will come into my office and looking for a job. And I'll ask him, what kind of training have you got? And number one, he'll say, well, I went for 2 years of a school. But in my business, I know that whatever these young men learn in the school has nothing to do with getting their hands dirty and trying to find a problem. But that's not what I'm really getting at. They come in and you have to give a young man a minimum wage of almost $800 a week.
Wow.
How do you put a man on a job, pay him $800 a week, or here in New York, let's bring it down to $15 an hour, which would be $600 a week. How do you give a guy $600 a week and charge a customer like $90 an hour for a kid that doesn't know anything about the trade he's trying to learn? How do you justify that cost to a customer? So I say to myself, I bring a man out into my shop, and I say to him, you've had 2 years of school training, but what is this product I'm holding in my hand? In other words, it's a piece of electrical equipment that one of his mechanics would ask him to go to the truck and get. And he looks at it and he says, well, I don't know. And he brings back, instead of bringing back an A, he brings back a B. So that means that the mechanic has to stop what he's doing, go to the truck, and search for a part called the A, because the young man has no training.
Yeah, and this is why a lot of people are just, a lot of small business owners I know, they're not hiring people anymore. They're just staying kind of small, thereby increasing another problem, unemployment. So I think all of these, governmental solutions end up creating more problems really respect you. You sound like a salt of the earth kind of guy, John. So give us a call, 888-988-JOSH for these 6 game-changing playbooks. And keep calling, 800-321-0710. Always a lot of fun, 800-321-0710.
WOR and WAXQ HD2 New York. The #1 preset on your car radio and on the free new and improved iHeartRadio app. Free. Never sounded so good.
From the heart of New York City, the conversation starts here. 710 WOR, the voice of New York.
An iHeart radio station.
It's 42 degrees at 10 o'clock. Good morning. I'm Bill Trefiro. There are allegations of an assault of a child from a member of the NYPD. Andrew Whitman has the story.
A rookie city cop arrested Friday and charged with raping a 15-year-old girl in the Bronx. Police called to Co-op City around 7:20 p.m. Friday for an argument in an apartment. Inside, they found Officer Negnoir Capon and the teen girl. She told officers the 27-year-old had gotten rough with her and dragged her around when she tried to leave his apartment. Capon joined the force 16 months ago, but on modified duty without a gun or badge. Not clear why. He's charged with rape, assault, and endangerment.
Mayor-elect Zora Mamdani's plan for fast, free city buses, estimated to cost $800 million annually through new taxes, has been met with early resistance from Governor Kathy Hochul. Governor Hochul expressed reservations about the proposal, especially citing concerns over the removal of essential fare revenue that the public transit system currently relies on. To achieve his goal of free buses, Mamdani will need the support of the governor, the MTA, and the state legislature. A man accused of attacking a security guard at a Newburgh emergency room is dead after being shot. Natalie Migliori has that story.
Authorities say 45-year-old Carlos Ortiz pulled a fire alarm in the emergency room of Montefiore St. Luke's Cornwall Hospital just after 11 p.m. Thursday night. They say he was armed with a knife when he was confronted and attacked the security guard. Fire officials say they were first called to the hospital lobby because of the fire alarm, and police were called to respond to the shot fired. A woman in close proximity to the incident suffered non-life-threatening injuries, and so far, the security guard faces no charges as the investigation continues.
The House plans to vote Tuesday on a measure that would force the Department of Justice to release all of the Epstein files. Many Republicans are expected to vote yes. If the measure passes, it'll go to the Senate, where it faces an uncertain future. If enough Republicans approve of the measure, it will go to the president's desk for his signature. Now, President Trump has called the Epstein files a Democrat hoax. In sports, the Knicks beat the Heat 140-132 at the Garden. The Nets fall 105-98 in Orlando. On the ice, the Islanders beat the Mammoth in overtime last night, 3-2. It's the Rangers at the Blue Jackets today. The Devils are at the Capitals today as well, both games 7 o'clock.
Here's your WOR Weather Channel forecast. As the front approaches this afternoon, clouds will increase with an isolated shower or two and a high of 53. Rain will increase tonight with gusty winds. Temperatures should hover in the low to mid-50s overnight, and then clearing windy and cooler behind a departing front on Sunday afternoon as temperatures fall into the upper 40s, and a sunny start to the week Monday with a high near 45. I'm meteorologist Jeff Marr.
Next News 11, bulletins at once. Wake up with Menti in the morning, 6 to 10 a.m. on Monday. I'm Bill Trefiro on 710 WOR.
Tired of losing money in the stock market roller coaster? Frustrated with the government taxing you into oblivion? Worried about inflation? How do you prepare for so many financial uncertainties? Welcome to the show that will help you develop your game plan. The Financial Quarterback with Josh Jalinski. Josh is a noted financial advisor and president of the Jalinski Advisory Group, and he's here to answer your questions. Call into the show at 800-321-0710. 800-321-0710. Now, let's kick off your financial future. Here's Josh Jalinski.
Okay, we're taking your calls at 800-321-0710 as I try to eat my meal prep in between the show. So we got a lot of emails. Some woman said I made her day. I love this woman. OMG, what a gift this morning. I was beginning to forget what you look like. So now I won't be running out the door until your broadcast is finished. By the way, every week we bring you live new content just because we're doing open lines doesn't mean, we're not. We put our heart and soul every week into the content. Hopefully the cooler temps will keep you off the ball field and on the radio live. Jim sent me an email to let me know you're on, because some people just love when I take calls. So, and then she says, I'll be making an appointment to see you before the end of the year. I always love when this woman comes to see me because she comes bearing gifts and just an amazing woman. Joe, who, by the way, I met this listener on the beach. He goes, oh, are you Josh Jalinski, the financial quarterback? And I go, hey, we've been emailing for something like 18 years. Can you believe this? 17 years. So some of these people who email me, though, you got to come in for a review. What you're thinking, is the Fed going to continue to lower rates, or will they put everything on hold until the Bureau of Labor and Statistics and all backlog data is released for greater clarity? I think they might lower it another quarter point, and then I think next year we could see rates go up because inflation is going to remain stickier than people suggest. Then we got someone who had a problem with my comments on homeschooling. Someone who said it's like a lease. A 50-year mortgage is like a lease. That is true. It's almost like a land lease. And then with property taxes. And someone said I was a little prideful about homeschooling. Yes, I am prideful. You know why? You know what people say, have the audacity to say when we homeschool our kids? They say, oh, what about socialization? Are your kids socialized? No, they're hermits. No, we don't love our children. You know why I'm proud about my homeschool? Because very few families are. We've had to endure ridicule and being persecuted. Imagine you pay taxes in your school district and you can't have your kid playing the football team or the baseball team. That you got to spend another $2,500 a year. And by the way, we are net. Homeschooling families should get a tax write-off or a credit on their property taxes because we are helping the public school system. So I'm not against public school. A lot of people have to public school because of affordability. What I'm saying is we should be very grateful for the homeschooling community because we're paying taxes into the system, but we are not a taker of the system's resources. Thereby, the public school kids get more money per pupil when we homeschool. So we should get more money back, at least half of the property taxes back. So my issue was the quality of the product is just as good, if not better, with most homeschoolers at a fraction of the cost. So what I'm saying is how we educate our children needs to change. Now we could have internet schools. So do we really need to spend all that money on, facilities? Imagine if every school district in the U.S. sold their schools for more land, right? Still had the athletic fields and the drama and all that, but sold most of the classrooms, gave that money back to the parents to raise their own kids, to educate their own kids. And you would still have teachers. Teachers would still be paid for certain circumstances, but they would be able to get more money because it would be direct to the parents. So parents would band together and say, let's create this pod. You're already seeing that in a lot of public schools, like Monmouth County has High Tech High. Ocean County has the Performing Arts School. So a lot of these schools are now becoming almost like pods in and of themselves. So I'm all for whatever you want to do with your kid, right? Public school, private school, homeschool. The point was that the way we fund education is significantly broken. We have multiple, do you really need, I think New Jersey has something like 500 school districts or something crazy. Do we really need 500 school districts? 500 curriculum supervisors, 500 this, and then the pensions. And I mean, so I think we are going to have a problem with affordability so long as property taxes are the way we fund our schools. So give us a call now, 800-321-0710. If you have a financial question for me, 800-321-0710. We're going to go to more of, a lot of you are calling, and if you're calling for the free book, keep calling. The book is Retirement Reality Check. It is my free gift to you when you schedule and keep your very own 6 game-changing playbooks conversation. That is a 45-minute session with yours truly, the financial quarterback, and our amazing team. We got Howard, CFA, CFP, CPA. We got Christopher Meyer, Paul, George, Ringo. No, we have Paul, George, and Ringo. That's amazing. Do we have a John? No, we don't have a John. Do we have Paul, George, John, and Ringo? Yes. So we don't have a John and we don't have a Ringo, but we have a Paul and a George. So call us at 888-988-JOSH. Now, Nicole, you had some questions on the subject of the 50-year mortgage.
Yeah, going back to the 50-year mortgage, I'm curious is there a danger in this for home buyers, especially younger ones, in terms of will they build equity more slowly this way?
Will be dangerous for younger home buyers? Definitely. The 50-year mortgage will be what I said. You will own nothing and be happy. You're supposed to be grateful. I mean, it's crazy what's coming down the pike. And then there'll be a social credit system. This will eventually lead to like 100-year mortgages because they'll just say, oh, well, you're going to live 100 years and you could leave the deed to your house to your kids, but then you're going to have to pay $50,000 in property taxes to pay for it. So I think it's very dangerous. The middle class wealth vehicles are their home that they build equity in, but they won't be able to build any equity in more.
What about for somebody listening who's struggling with today's home prices? What's a better strategy for them than stretching a mortgage to 50 years?
Find a good landlord where you can have affordable rent, bank the difference, and then just buy it with a 30-year mortgage. I don't think a 50-year mortgage is a good solution at all.
Are there any certain types of buyers that you think a 50-year mortgage would make sense for, or should people avoid this entirely?
If you really can't afford a home with any other way than a 50-year, it's a free country. I'm okay with it. And I'm okay if you really want to do it. If it gets you into that house you've always wanted. So long as you can afford the whole cash flow analysis. So I would have you or your kids do call us for a cash flow analysis. But generally, I think the idea, I'm not against it. It just doesn't solve the problem of affordability. So next up, we'll have some parting thoughts on 50-year mortgages. But first up, we got Keith. Go ahead. Go ahead, Keith. You're on.
Okay, I'm going to be filling out a trust to save what little money I have put aside in these banks. And I wanted to know, do I file the trust in the bank or do I go to court and file the trust forms?
Well, the trust is a legal document that an attorney would draft. You don't really file it in court. That would be something kind of after someone passes, maybe you would deal with it. A trust doesn't need to be filed in court, although I'm not an attorney, so I'm not giving you legal advice. The one thing I see with trusts, a big mistake, is people go to an attorney, they have a trust drafted, but get this, Keith, they do not fund the trust, meaning they do not retitle their accounts in the name of the trust. So have you done that?
No, I haven't gotten the paperwork yet.
That's the number one thing. So if you have let's say you have a brokerage account with Fidelity or something, you have to call Fidelity and have them change it from a Keith-owned account to a trust-owned account. And we can help you do that if you give us a call.
Okay.
888-988-JOSH.
I got that there. I'm going to figure out what it's going to cost me to have it done once I fill out the paperwork. I'd have to hike all the way to where you are. I'm in Manhattan, so coming to New Jersey is a trip in itself.
Well, we could try to find somebody to meet you in North Jersey or New York. We have a dedicated staff that will drive all over the area for you.
That would be good.
Or we could do stuff over Zoom and mail, or phone and mail, or carrier pigeon. So,
once I know what the price is, I'll put money aside for that as well, and go from there.
Yeah. And we're reasonable for that. So we, depending on what you have, it's 1% over $1 million, 1.25% under. So it's a flat fee situation. So when you win, we win. So
yes, I know. Well, listen, sir, I've listened to you for a couple of years. You've done a great job. I give you credit, man. You're a very honest and straightforward person. I appreciate that very much, man.
Thank you. I appreciate
Your folks
you,
taught
Keith.
you well.
Thank you. Yeah, I love my folks. Yesterday
Your folks
was.
taught you well, man. That is very good. You take care, sir. Thank you for your help, sir.
Thank you, Keith. Thanks for listening. Tell all your friends to call us, 888-988-JOSH. And, I was very blessed to have good parents. And you almost made me cry. My mother's birthday would have been yesterday. So it's a very painful thing to think about. But I miss my mom and dad. It's people always say, you had good parents. You had them for a while. I had them for 70 years. I wasn't around for 70 years, but they had 70 years on the earth, so we're blessed. Some people don't have that blessing. So it just, I thought I'd have them for a little longer and be able to, spend more time with them. So you miss them. And that's part of my thing of all heart and no regrets. In reality, we all have some regret in our life. Your financial plan should be structured in a way that you minimize regret. And, in my 20s and 30s, I wish I spent a little more time with I spent as much time as they can. I mean, they would come over every day. They'd work for me. And I would take my dad to Portugal and Mexico, and we had great times. But I wish I took my mom to some places. She didn't. She always thought my father would go before her, and then she'd maybe get 10 more years. And we always thought, I don't know why we thought that, but she passed away 6 months after my dad, so I didn't have a chance to pamper her. I mean, I took her to Disney World once, took her to Hawaii once. But you talk about all heart, no regrets. The reason why that's our motto at the Jalinski Advisory Group is it's born out of life's trials, and you want your financial plan to give you. Nobody ever says at their funeral, I wish I saved more in my 401k, right? They say, I wish I took that extra trip. I wish I spent more time with my kids. And that's one of the reasons my wife and I structured our life, particularly the last so many years of having kids, to just be with our kids. And so give us a call, 888-988-JOSH, 888-988-JOSH. If you want a plan that would be heart-centered, all heart, no regrets, call us, 888-988-JOSH. We'll be back after these messages.
Josh and his team at the Jalinski Advisory Group can help you lower your taxes and lower your risk in these uncertain times with a 27-point checklist designed to improve your financial health. Whether you're worried about runaway prices, fear of an upcoming recession, or a stock market meltdown, tune in to the Financial Quarterback and count on Josh Jalinski to call the play. For a free copy of Josh's book, The Retirement Reality Check, call 888-988-5674. That's 888-988-5674. Maybe it seems like the prices can't get much higher, or that the stock market is headed for bear territory, or maybe you're worried about another great recession. Josh Jalinski, the Financial Quarterback, can help you protect your family's financial future in times like these. Call 888-988-5674 to take advantage of Josh's 27-point plan to achieve financial health. And when you call, you'll receive a free copy of Josh's book, Retirement Reality Check. Call 888-988-5674 to receive your free copy of Retirement Reality Check.
Up next, we have Kevin. Go ahead. You're on with Josh Jalinski, the financial quarterback. Go ahead, Kevin.
Hi, Josh. How you doing? Myself and my wife are mid-60s. We both retired. I just retired recently. And my question is, I have 500,000 in an annuity and also 200,000 in CD. And my question is, can I combine both of those and get a annual interest rate return?
So 200K in a CD, and what else?
Yes. 500,000 in an annuity.
Is the annuity tax deferred, or is it within an IRA or outside of an IRA?
It's a worker's annuity, so I think it's tax deferred.
Okay, so yeah, I don't think you can combine it. But come in, call us at 888-988-JOSH, and we'll watch the tape. And what that means is we will call the company and figure out, did you get a tax break going in? Did it grow tax-free? If you got a tax break on the way in on that annuity and it grew tax-free, every dollar you take out of it is subject to ordinary income taxes. So one of the things we would want to do is plan for future taxes. And if that's the case and the CD is not within an IRA, they cannot be combined. However, we can give you a unified strategy, what we call a unified planning experience, where you can get the same. So let's say you have 200 grand in a taxable account, 500 in a tax deferred, and you want to put it in dividends that pay you 35 grand a year combined. We could do that for you in one website that you go on, and you can get checks from two different sources.
Okay.
So I think that's what you need, and we'll certainly help you with that. Any other questions on that?
No, that's pretty much my question. Thank you. Great show. Really enjoyed it.
Thank you, Kevin. Next up, we got Virginia. Okay, so I got an email from the woman bashing me about public schools. She says she appreciates my clarification. I've been emailing with this woman for 20 years. Now, I want to be clear here. Some of you we've never met. I love you. I love this woman dearly. She's a salt of the earth type person. And I'm sure she was the best mom you could imagine. And she says, I actually agree with you 100%. I was public school educated. Like, my parents couldn't afford to homeschool me. We were so poor, they couldn't even do homeschool. So she says, if you make the case with your school board and commissioner of education, I think Long Island, New York homeschooled students may participate in sports. It is absurd that children are banned from sports. Please try to find other parents and do a class action. I agree, but I don't have the time to, you know what I mean? But I did. I talked to the athletic director, and he's like, well, we don't know if the kid will behave. I said, I'll sign a code of ethics. You can kick the kid out if he doesn't behave. I'm not. It was strange. So, when my, and sometimes they can't even take like the PSAT. So there's this legal group called the Homeschool Legal Defense Association, HSLDA. But I think it's not like we're against public schooling. It works together. My wife was a public school teacher. I think it serves a valuable role. I'm just saying the funding mechanism of public schools needs to change, because what's happening as the economy grows worse, we already see this in New Jersey, costs are going up, and now we have all these senior freeze, anchor programs. By the way, each state now is doing these things where seniors aren't paying taxes. That's making the public schools worse because they're getting less funding. So if you care about public schools, you'll want to change how the funding formula. Doesn't make sense. And the costs. And I think now in the 21st century with the internet, My kids get trained on the internet with certain subjects that we're not, equipped to do, like certain college courses and stuff. So, I don't know. I don't know if so. So somebody just asked, is the Irishman single? Oh man, Kevin, we didn't we talk about this? We talked about this yesterday, right?
Oh,
The dating app. We should create a dating app for the show.
That's right. It wasn't live on the air.
We'll be announcing our dating app in the next few weeks. Isn't that crazy? People are on the same wavelength. Next up, Virginia. Go ahead.
Hi. I was listening to your program this morning, and you had said something about property tax funding the schools. I live in New York State, and in a little village, and we pay property tax to our village, and we pay school taxes to the town that the village is in. Our property taxes are about half of what our school taxes are. So could you clarify what you meant about the property tax funding schools? Because I was under the impression that our property tax took care of the property and the schools took care of the school taxes took care of the schools.
They may in your town do it a little differently, but in most towns where I am, it's property taxes fund the school. But I think regardless, it's probably, if you add it up, it's still the old notion of property tax. I think they just call it school tax because if you call it what it is, it might get more funding or more votes. Now we're seeing things in New Jersey. I don't know. What did your town do, Nicole? Where they keep voting down the budgets? Or is that different?
In Monmouth County, I think that they do that.
In Ocean County, they keep voting against the school taxes from going up, which I think is fine. If a town wants to build, Friday night lights and have a professional style stadium and everybody wants to pay for it, right? I guess, that's constitutional. But I think it should be, parents making a decision of what's best for their kids. My long-term thing is property taxes are keeping people from affording. The whole issue, what we were talking about, was housing affordability. And then a gentleman brought up property taxes is a key way. He had a paid-off house, but he doesn't feel like he really owns his house because he has to pay, 15, 20 grand in property taxes every year, and he can barely afford it. So that was the whole impetus with that. Any other comments on that, Virginia?
Well, our taxes altogether are about 25, and our house has been paid off forever.
I mean, that's ridiculous. 25,000. Think about that. So that's kind of my point is, if you gave, let's say I create a fund, the public education fund, and we took 25 grand to fund roads, schools, bridges, snow removal, and trash collection, right? Like the things that a local government should do. Anything else? That's about it, right? Roads, bridges, schools,
Trash pickup?
Trash pickup, you got to collect the trash, and snow removal. Maybe there's something else that I'm forgetting. That should be what these things pay for. But then you realize, well, Tom said police, fire, ambulance. A lot of ambulance is free. Hatsala is an amazing charity to give to. Most fires are, fire departments are funded by volunteers. So yeah, police. I'll add in police there. It should be, but what ends up happening is somebody's political appointed, so then these things get bloated, and then you have, 5 administrators. We need to get back to a simpler local government. But I'm not running for office. I'm just talking about that it's a problem, affordability. So things need to change. So 25 grand. I mean, how many people are in your town, Virginia?
Probably 6,000, maybe 7,500. It's less than a square mile.
What town do you live in?
What town do you live in?
Tuckahoe, New York.
So how many people live in Tuckahoe, New York? So we'll just, I guess it would be how many homeowners there are. So, and then you look at how many kids go to school. There's got to be bloated, somebody's wife is the, curriculum supervisor who makes $175 a year. You know what I mean? Stuff like that. Yeah, it's a 6,900 to 6,990. You're pretty close. Wow. And
yeah, been here.
I wonder how many homeowners there are. So,
yeah, that I really don't know.
And
That'd be
then,
interesting to follow up on.
but anyway, that's a big problem. And so, how many homeowners are there in Tuckahoe, New York? So we're looking at that next. So we'll see. So there's 3,000 total housing units. So let's say you have a nicer home than most. So let's say 3,000 people are paying $10,000 each on average. It's $30 million a year. How many kids are in the school district? It's like, let's say there's, I don't know, can't be more than 500 kids, right? That's 60 grand per kid. You could send that back, and that's if everybody paid 10,000. You could send 30 grand back to the kid, give each parent 30 grand to, one parent on a 2-parent household to stay home. Or give each parent 40 grand to educate their kid. And then what you'll see is you still have 20 grand left over. You could have you could lower property taxes by a third. That's if the average property tax person pays 10,000. But that's what I'm saying. Like, there's just so much, government has just gotten out of control. There's just layers and layers of bureaucracy. We all want government to provide a certain level of support. But anyway, we will see. It's funny. The dating app. Well, thank you so much, Virginia. I appreciate the call.
Thanks for your help. Appreciate it.
Okay, next up, I got an email. The dating app, Too Funny, was joking. Love and living alone, so peaceful. Well, we weren't joking. We think a dating app would be great for listeners of the Financial Quarterback. If you like the idea, call us, 800-321-0710, and call me 800-321-0710. Do you like the idea of the dating app? Give us a call now. And up next, we'll talk more about the Carl commercials, giving financial advisors a bad name, but I don't know if anybody's really listened to them. Nobody's really responded about that. They've responded about property taxes more. So when we return, call us 888-988-JOSH, beam on the next 3 callers, and you get the free book, Retirement Reality Check, when you schedule your legendary retirement game plan. Up next, we'll take your calls, 800-321-0710. We'll be back after these messages.
Maybe it's much higher, or that the stock market is headed for bear territory, or maybe you're worried about another great recession. Josh Jalinski, the Financial Quarterback, can help you protect your family's financial future in times like these. Call 888-988-5674 to take advantage of Josh's 27-point plan to achieve financial health. And when you call, you'll receive a free copy of Josh's book, Retirement Reality Check. Call 888-988-5674 to receive your free copy of Retirement Reality Check. Josh and his team at the Jalinski Advisory Group can help you lower your taxes and lower your risk in these uncertain times with a 27-point checklist designed to improve your financial health. Whether you're worried about runaway prices, fear of an upcoming recession, or a stock market meltdown, tune in to the Financial Quarterback and count on Josh Jalinski to call the play. For a free copy of Josh's book, The Retirement Reality Check, call 888-988-5674. That's 888-988-5674.
Okay, we're back. Do you have any more questions, Nicole, on this 50-year mortgage, or did we?
I mean, I guess I would just, it always comes back to my journey. So I guess you know my situation. I'm a renter. I have a relatively low rent payment. I want to be a homeowner eventually. I don't think I'm not one of those people that I'm following a timeline. I need to do it now. I'm more in the camp of doing it when it makes the most sense for me. Knowing my situation, what would you say to me about doing a 50-year mortgage?
I would say bank the money. If it helps you invest the difference, right, in the market for your long-term growth, I'm okay with it. But generally, save your money, get the lower cost rent. And I mean, from what we talked about, your rent is half what a mortgage would be. So bank the difference in a low-cost mutual fund. So give us a call. A lot of people are calling about taxes. We will give you your very own tax playbook when you schedule and keep your no-obligation conversation at 888-988-JOSH. We'll walk you through the numbers of whether a 50-year mortgage or 30 years right for you, cash flow, taxes, interest rates, and the smartest way to build wealth through real estate. Home ownership should strengthen your financial future, not weaken it. So next up, we have another 2-minute drill. But before we do, so I don't know if we can get the Carl commercial up so people hear it, but basically, it's funny, I got national press for the Carl commercial. But now we're going to talk about the 2-minute drill, so go ahead.
Okay, yes, this is our first live 2-minute drill, so no pressure. And just to remind everybody of the rules, I'm going to ask you a question, and you have 2 minutes to answer as the financial quarterback. So here we go. If somebody is listening and they feel like they make good money, but they still aren't getting ahead, what's the first thing they should do to fix their cash flow problem?
Well, number one, write it down. Just understand what you're spending money on. Do you really need YouTube? Do you really need Hulu? A lot of our listeners are salt of the earth type people who lived on less to become middle-class millionaires. Their mortgages are paid off. You got to be like your parents and grandparents who were frugal. Not your boomer parents who spent all the money, but like your greatest generation grandparents who, if they didn't have it, they didn't buy it. And that's how you'll be financially successful. Logging your expenses, tracking every dollar, and then saving religiously 20% of your pay. You don't need to. A lot of people complicate finances. They think they need to go on a budget. Most are surprised when they realize I don't believe in budgets, really. Like, what's the point? You're going to violate it anyway. But I think if you start with paying yourself first, 10 or 20%, in a side account that you don't touch, then you could functionally live paycheck to paycheck so long as you don't go into consumer credit card debt, and you'll be okay in 20 years or 10 years or 15. You'll build that retirement nest egg. You'll build an emergency fund. So don't overcomplicate it. Save 15 to 20% of your pay, and then you don't even need a budget. Like, I don't have to worry about, what did I do here? I did, when I was starting the plan, for sure. I remember the George Foreman grill. I don't know, we cooked stuff on the George Foreman grill to save money on groceries. I remember I'd get a rotisserie chicken, and I'd eat it over a couple days, and then a salad. And because I believed you should probably still eat healthy, even on a lower budget. And it worked. So I think people overcomplicate financial success. And if you save 15% of your pay, I've never met anybody who has saved 15% of their pay and ended up a financial failure. So that'd be my tip. That's my 2-minute drill. In under...
That was great. Just about 2 minutes, slightly over, but it was a very thoughtful answer, so I'll allow it.
So, practical steps to kick off 2026 planning. In the next few weeks, we're going to be talking about year-end tax moves you need to make. But first, let's talk about how to kick off your financial planning into next year, because that starts right now. Today, we're talking about shifting the idea of financial success as we head into 2026. The old mindset was about beating benchmarks and growing net worth. But with new clarity in the tax code, especially with the One Big Beautiful Bill Act and the $15 million estate tax exemption, people are starting to ask a different question, or a better question. Does my financial plan support the life I actually want to live? We had a guy called just earlier, 1.8 million. Another guy, 700,000. They've acquired some degree of wealth. And different studies have shown you need about 1 to 5 million to be comfortable in retirement, depending on your budget, depending on what you get from Social Security. And the key is, are you living a life that you desire? Are you living a life with all heart and no regrets? Because many of you, when you meet your maker, you will have some regret of something you didn't do with your money. That's why one of the things we do is called watching the tape. That's where we put your numbers, your actual numbers, not a hypothetical, into our wealth simulator and say, I want to spend $20,000 on that trip to Greece. I want to spend another $20,000 on that trip to Tahiti. Can I afford it and still live the life I want? I want enough to be okay. I want enough to die in peace. I want enough to not go to a nursing home. I want to hire a nurse with my money that lives with me and takes care of me instead of just shipping me off into a home. You know that happens to a lot of people? They just get shipped off into a nursing home. You can change that. You can say, hey, kids, if you ship me off into a home, you get nothing. And if you don't want to take care, see, we've got to have real conversations with our loved ones. It's okay for your kids not to want to wipe your rear end. It's okay for your kids who want to be your children. They want to love you. They want to spend time with you. They don't want to be your caregiver. Being a caregiver is a lot, and not everybody can handle it. But there should be funds in your financial plan to hire someone that could maybe live with you if you don't want to go to a nursing home. We'll help you with all that. A recent Kiplinger article highlights how money decisions aren't just about investments or tax efficiency. They're all about purpose, destiny, questions of meaning, family harmony, and communication. The article lays out 7 practical steps you can take before 2026, clarifying values, prioritizing goals, defining legacy, working with a holistic financial advisor, having family conversations, and checking to see if your plan aligns with your goals every year. We've had certain people say, I don't want to invest in XYZ stock that doesn't believe in the values that I believe in, and watching for red flags like stress or uncertainty. You got to do some of these things before 2026. Financial success is shifting from net worth to real worth, meaning life alignment, purpose, and peace of mind. You know, it's like we had that guy call and said, I'm 85% in stock. Is that okay for me? Well, it's okay. I don't know. If the market going down 20 or 30%, which we know could happen in a downturn, would really rock you, then I would say adjust. If it doesn't rock you, maybe we put together a different plan. If you have that peace of mind to hold your stocks in a downturn. The tax landscape is getting more predictable going into 2026. But inflation, interest rates, and family dynamics can still create pressure. Families increasingly want to know, is my money doing what I need to for my life? That's why our motto is all heart and no regrets. Values-based financial planning is becoming more important than even investment returns. We have, some people don't want to invest in certain companies because of tuck bathing suits. Your values should be aligned with how you invest, potentially. Some don't care. They care about the bottom line. And it's whatever you care about, really. Values-based planning is becoming more important. Estate planning isn't just financial. It affects relationships, second marriages, and multi-generational expectations. Family communication can reduce future conflict and create shared understanding. And when we return, we'll talk more about financial stress and an income tax strategy you can do before the year is over. Give us a call now, 888-988-JOSH, 888-988-JOSH, for your all-heart, no-regrets financial conversation for 2025. Give us a call now, 888-988-JOSH. We'll be back after these messages.
Josh and his team at the Jalinski Advisory Group can help you lower your taxes and lower your risk in these uncertain times with a 27-point checklist designed to improve your financial health. Whether you're worried about runaway prices, fear of an upcoming recession, or a stock market meltdown, tune in to the Financial Quarterback and count on Josh Jalinski to call the play. For a free copy of Josh's book, The Retirement Reality Check, call 888-988-5674. That's 888-988-5674. Maybe it seems like the prices can't get much higher, or that the stock market is headed for bear territory, or maybe you're worried about another great recession. Josh Jalinski, the Financial Quarterback, can help you protect your family's financial future in times like these. Call 888-988-5674 to take advantage of Josh's 27-point plan to achieve financial health. And when you call, you'll receive a free copy of Josh's book, Retirement Reality Check. Call 888-988-5674 to receive your free copy of Retirement Reality Check.
Okay, we're back. There's a comment from a listener. People waste money $5 a day. That's good. Try to find $5 a day of savings. The $1,000 savings, not buying a new couch is good, except new couches are now like $5,000. But $5 a day wasted times two people is $300 a month. I did this with people and they are shocked. People don't need the best phone, TV subscriptions, etc. I will counsel, I guess, the producer, and she will hate me. That's funny. So we're taking your calls at All Matters Financial, 800-321-0710. We have about 10 minutes left if you have a financial question for me. You know, many of you are calling us to figure out your year-end tax planning guidance from a financial planning perspective. You know, when the clock strikes 12 on January 1, 2026, it will be too late for many of you to get tax breaks that you can enact now. So one of the key things you should do, if you haven't, is get a financial review before year end to see, am I taking advantage of my FSA, my HSA, my IRA, my Roth, any new tax breaks I should get. We just met with somebody yesterday, one of the most dedicated people I know for education. He's a public educator and works so hard for kids, and was telling him to max out his 403B before year end to lower his tax bill. So there's a whole lot of things you could do before year end. But don't wait till like December 25th to call me. We'll be out of the office. Or December 24th, we'll be out of the office. Call us now. Clarify your goals. Rank your goals. Clarify your values. Define what legacy means to you. It's different. We have people, they take care of their dogs like their children. Think about this. Do you have a dog you love?
Yes, I just got a dog about 3 weeks ago. Carl, I mentioned him earlier.
So Carl You'll begin to love Carl like a child. And then what happens when you pass to Carl? He ends up in a shelter because your sister doesn't take him in.
Oh, I would be so mad at her.
Exactly. So your financial plan should stipulate, hey, sister, you can get all my accounts or whatever it is, but you got to take care of Carl. And people don't have that. You ever wonder why so many dogs are in shelters? Well, people die. And their pet gets left behind. So if that's a part of your legacy, clarify that. Find a holistic financial advisor. Hold family wealth conversations. You know, we do meetings with kids and families. Review your plan annually and watch for red flags. Go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say, you know, you meet with a lot of people every day. With the estate tax exemption set at $15 million for 2026, how does that change the conversations that some of these people are having with their families?
If you are above that threshold, you need to act now because the pendulum shifts. Think about this. We had Donald Trump elected in 2024, and 1 year later we had Zohran Mamdani. People always seek governmental solutions, even though the government really can't save you. And the best thing is to get more of your own hard money back to you. But for people whose estates are greater than 15 million due to real estate or due to stocks or owning a business, we're creating family offices for these individuals so that they can lower their estate tax, pop money in trusts, still have control, and build a plan for all heart and no regrets. For families under 15 million, estate taxes are not your concern. Now, maybe state, depending on where you live, you could have state inheritance tax. So like Pennsylvania really hurts people when they die. There's like this inheritance tax. And there are things that would pass free of inheritance tax, like life insurance. New York has an estate tax threshold above a certain amount. So all of these things change. And I would say if you're worth over 15 million, you still got to worry about estate taxes. If you're worth under 15 million, the legacy conversation is more about income tax than estate tax. So for example, utilizing the Trump tax cuts in 2025 to shelter money away on a tax advantage basis, to pay as little tax as you can on IRAs, and to grow money tax free. Because one of the things we knew, and I was talking about with the pendulum shifting politically, we seem to go from harder left to harder right. So think about this, right? We had Bush, George W. Bush, Bill Clinton. Kind of more moderate, right? Moderate Democrat, moderate Republican. Then we had George W. Bush, a little more conservative than his father. Then Obama, more liberal than Clinton. Then Trump, more, some people say more conservative. I don't really think more conservative, but maybe more right. Then we have Biden. Then Trump, AOC, Zohran Mamdani. So this pendulum is swinging. Eventually, people might say, you know what, let's tax people 60% on their IRAs. So you want to be building wealth that is legally off the radar of the IRS. And if you want to call us for that tax planning game-changing playbook, call us at 888-988-JOSH. And you have a couple more questions as we round out the show. Carl, nobody really cared about the Carl, but I was basically saying, Schwab, you need to do better in your commercials. There are many dedicated fiduciary financial advisors out there who puts the needs of the client first. You don't need to mock a whole profession. So it'd be like me mocking teachers because I don't like the way public education is funded. I could never be a teacher, and I salute teachers every day. So go ahead, Nicole, with some of your questions.
I was curious that of these 7 steps that they're listing for kicking off 2026 planning, and just as a reminder, they're clarify values, rank goals, define legacy, find a holistic advisor, hold family conversations, review your plan annually, and watch for red flags. Of those steps, which do you think people overlook the most?
I think clarifying your values. There was somebody that we talked to this week she's a values-based client, and for whatever reason she lost her values mooring. Not that she didn't have values, of course she did, but she was beginning to go off of her path because doing the same thing year in out for 15 years might get boring, right? So I would say, number one, you clarify, what is the value of what I'm trying to accomplish? Because so many people, especially, they try to put you in something that enriches them, not enriches your values-driven life. So I would say, number one, clarify values. Number two, rank your goals. And number three, define legacy. What does legacy mean to you? For some people, it's giving kids money now. The number one thing that this person values I'm talking about is they want one of their children to be able to afford a home in Long Island, like a bigger home that they could raise a family. That's her number one value and goal, if I was to rank it. And in a lot of ways, it's her number one legacy. Someone else came in, was trying to sell them some index universal life policy, came in, trashed, what we did for 15 years. And it wasn't her fault. It was just, she's a nice person. And, it's like talking to somebody at the bank, they give you an idea. But I think it goes back to clarifying what matters to you. Because somebody will always say, okay, this is better than this. But it's really, what do you want? And then work around. It's not about what I want. It's about what the client wants. And building that around. And that kind of brings us full circle to the Carl, where Carl is all about himself. And there are advisors that are all about what they do for themselves. We are trying to do what's best for the client. Now, everybody says that, but how do you do that? You hold those family conversations, and you follow those 7 steps. And I think if you're stressed about money, if you're feeling the pinch, if you want to feel confident and purposeful as we head into 2026, retirement planning isn't just about bigger balances or sometimes even beating a spreadsheet. It's about building the financial life that supports who you are, what you value, and the legacy you want to leave behind with all heart and no regrets. If your plan isn't giving you clarity and confidence and peace of mind, it might be time for a fresh conversation about what truly matters and how your wealth can support a more meaningful life. Call me today, 888-988-JOSH, 888-988-5674, 888-988-JOSH, and get the free book, 888-988-JOSH.
The preceding program was sponsored by the Jalinski Advisory Group.
Any awards, rankings, or recognition by unaffiliated third parties or publications, including 5-Star Wealth Manager, Advisory of the Year finalist by Senior Market Advisor, and top of the $1 Million Roundtable, are in no way indicative of the advisor's future performance or any individual client's investment success. No award, ranking, or recognition should be construed as a current or past endorsement of Josh Jalinski or Wealth Quarterback LLC. Information regarding specific awards, rankings, or recognitions is available on the Wealth Quarterback website at jalinski.org. All investment strategies have the potential for profit or loss. Investment strategies such as asset allocation, diversification, or rebalancing do not assure or guarantee better performance and cannot eliminate the risk of investment losses. There are no guarantees that a portfolio employing these or any other strategy will outperform a portfolio that does not engage in such strategies. This broadcast should not be construed by any client or prospective client as a solicitation to effect or attempt to effect transactions
transactions in securities or the rendering of personalized investment advice. Due to various factors, including changing market conditions, the information discussed in this broadcast may no longer be reflective of current positions or recommendations. While information presented is believed to be factual and up to date, Josh Jalinski and Wealth Quarterback do not guarantee its accuracy, and it should not be regarded as a complete analysis of the subjects discussed. The tax and estate planning information discussed is general in nature, is provided for informational purposes only, and should not be construed as legal or tax advice. Listeners should consult an attorney or tax professional regarding their specific legal or tax situation. Investment advisory services offered through